Literally everything I do lately is, is just kind of like not followed, but like intertwined with this uncertainty and this, like, I don't know, it's like asterisks on everything. And I think I'm getting a better understanding of why, because like with rehab, it's like, we talked about it several times, and I don't think I fully grasped it as much as I thought I did. That, yeah, 30 days wasn't enough. Hell, if you count in when I went over to sober living, the 60 plus days still wasn't enough, There were things I was starting to do since I've been back. Hell, things I was starting to do once I went to sober living that was really just not good. And obviously I talked about like caffeine abuse, but I think the reason is not just my sensitivity to it, but the reason that is such an issue for me is because it gives me an excuse to have a handicap. Because I'm truly at the point now where I've basically like have all my mental shit figured out, but it's like my brain is convinced that that's not okay. So I tend to take this route of just kind of just finding anything, and then that's been the ultimate thing. That right there, I mean, hell, that's the thing that helped reinforce the drinking in the first place. I would just get hopped up on caffeine, get super anxious, muscles tight, chest tight like it is now. Yes, I drank some today, we'll get into that. But like, drink caffeine. But yeah, no, it went in, it reinforced the alcoholism, because the fucking caffeine is like making my arms sore, and I'm trying to work out again this week, and this whole thing. But no, and that's the thing I'm getting at, is this thing I'm trying to like put in my way so that I can't be as great as I want to be. It's the thing that reinforced my my drinking, because I would get super anxious and stuff like that, and it'd be like, oh, this will calm me down, and and it and the funny thing is, it did. The problem with it, hell, honestly, with a few exceptions, the problem with my drinking and the reason I needed to stop wasn't even because it was fucking with, relationships with people and stuff like that. The only relationships it fucked with were people that probably shouldn't have been in my life anyway. That's why it triggered me so much when I was drinking. Really, drinking's never been a thing that's fucked with my just whatever with other people. The first time I drank or quit drinking, the reason I should have stopped and the reason I did stop was because it was such a crutch, because it didn't allow me to figure stuff out. But hell, I had figured a lot out before the next time. It's just, I started drinking clearly because out of fear or whatever, but also like the reason I had to stop that time was almost purely because of physical whatever. I cannot handle alcohol the way I did before, and I don't think it really dawned on me how much I used to drink. Sure, it wasn't as much this time, but it still did a lot of damage this time because of the previous time. I drank so much last time, it fucked my gut up so much more than I could have imagined. And I'm dealing with a lot of that right now, but it'd be so much easier to deal with if I wasn't, if I wasn't pumping my body full of caffeine, the thing that stimulates, the thing that's all the stuff that's already wrong with me, it's going to amplify, Sure, it might amplify the productivity as long as I'm into that. As long as like, say I drank it, say I drank caffeine and I immediately went to work out, or I immediately went to work on something. It will do what it's supposed to do as long as I just immediately do that and don't think twice about it. But unfortunately, my default is anxiety. And I'm not trying to give my anxiety the excuse here, but like, the anxiety would be a lot easier to because it's like I do have a pretty good grip on it when I'm not putting that stimulant into me. That stimulant is just giving me the excuse to pump up that anxiety, to pump up that default, so I don't have to. So I have an excuse of why I'm not doing better right now. But it's just exhausting. You know, it's stupid. And yeah, but then the funny thing that was fucking with me lately was that I clearly know that's the reason why I'm having so many issues in my gut and stuff like that. But like, I convinced myself, maybe that's not the case. Like, I question it and whatever other things. It's like, you've seen this in real time. Sure, the reason you question it is because you haven't felt better in a long time, but that's because you haven't stopped long enough, stopped your caffeine use long enough to be able to see it, right? You're not letting yourself have that. So it's also giving you this excuse to look towards other reasons of why things are wrong, so you can keep using the caffeine. No, it's the caffeine. It's the caffeine fucking with your gut, because unfortunately you abuse the fuck out of yourself with that alcohol, or abuse the alcohol, whatever, and you just can't handle certain things the way you used to. And that shouldn't be an issue, because the thing is, when I did start to notice that, I didn't notice it then as much as I did now, but when I did start to notice that, I just took the simple precautions. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not gonna be able to eat junk anymore, so I stopped doing that. I guess I'm not gonna be able to drink caffeine anymore, so I stopped doing that. As a result, I was eating a lot of really healthy food and working out, and I was looking good and I was feeling good. It's awesome. Yeah, but then I was feeling too good, and then I had to create some reason not to be, and caffeine and alcohol and all that kind of shit is what provided that. Yeah. And then along this process of me fucking myself up like this, I keep looking for reasons within it to push myself down that path even more. It's because, like, now, unfortunately, you know, there are times where I do have to take more rest in a day, because the anxiety has pumped me up so much that it physically exhausts me, you know, and it's only because I drink that fucking liquid, you know, and then I can't work out as much. I can't do certain things as much. My physicality when I'm playing guitar, I'm not able to go to a million miles an hour like I could before. And so it gives me additional excuses, because now I feel bad about the fact that I can't do that stuff, instead of just like accepting that that's the reality right now and just giving myself a minute. But this is like, it's like I feel if I accept that that's the reality right now, then that's another excuse to keep doing it, to keep fucking with myself. But it's even more of an excuse I'm giving myself when I don't acknowledge that, when I feel more like shit about whatever. And that right there just pushes me down the path to drink again. And this is not good. It's all kinds of fun. But yeah, I need to stop looking for these asterisks to put on everything and just, you know, let things be. But unfortunately, the reality that I was refusing to face with this whole let things be, surrender and stuff like that, is what that truly means. And that means there's gonna be things that are not so great, that you're not gonna have full control of right now, that you gotta kind of just let happen. And that's going through, say, withdrawal symptoms of caffeine, which for me at least arguably are worse than the withdrawal symptoms of fucking alcohol abuse. Because I haven't, even with the crazy amount of alcohol I've drank in my life, I have not gotten to the hallucination point yet. But with caffeine withdrawal, it's weirdly like it is right now. Like right now I'm stiff and like stressed and anxious and mood swinging and all that kind of stuff because of the caffeine. Ironically, when I stop, I'm going to have that. And it might be even worse. But I don't have the benefit of having the caffeine high. So I think that's the other thing that I'm so hesitant to do. But like it's like I need a shock to the system. I won't say exactly what was going on in my life at the time, but not the reason I stopped drinking, but what helped me to stop drinking caffeine as well was like there was just something that happened, and I thought it was related to what was going on with me. It turns out it wasn't even. which I think is what's giving me an excuse to keep doing this to myself now. But then there was something that I kind of read into too much. But as a result, it was a shock to the system. It made me stop all the things that I was doing that was bad, and just made me kind of grit my teeth and go through it. So it's like, I need that for myself. It's like, it's kind of similar-esque to that line from Batman Begins that Bruce says to Alfred when they're coming back to Gotham, about people need dramatic examples to shake themselves out of apathy. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's accurate. It's not verbatim what I'm going through, but yeah. And here's the other thing right now is I stopped drinking caffeine for the past few days. And because there's symptoms coming up right now that I didn't feel until I started talking again here, and I drink this caffeine after not drinking it for the past 3 days, is this weird stuffy nose fucking shit. Actually, I know why that happens. Duh. Because I'm having difficulty breathing in deep. I think it's almost like my body thinks I'm sick. So then it makes me sick. But that sickness doesn't last very long. Once I'm mentally okay, it just disappears, yeah. And also, I don't actually really ever get sick. Or at least I don't notice it. Maybe I just push past it. Because and maybe it's true for other guys, but the whole guys bitch when they're sick, I've never done that day in my fucking life. I don't complain. I mean, I complain about other people and shit like that, and you could almost argue that this is complaining, but I don't complain about a lot. I kind of shut the fuck up about a lot of things, almost to a fault. I didn't tell anyone I was going to rehab, and my mom did bring up that was kind of a bad idea, because if no one knows where I'm going, if I disappear, they're like, what the fuck? But then at the same time, it's I kind of wanted to disappear. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I do know. I don't know why I say that. I guess bottom line, what I was getting at was just kind of I just wanted to kind of get out of my head here, because I was putting that little asterisk on things again, and like I said, I was kind of getting an understanding of why I'm doing this. But then usually when I get to a real enlightening point, lately at least, back in the day it was different, but now that I've had enough of those enlightening whatever, I've been it's made me a little scared. So every time I have some epiphany moment or something like that, I tend to want to shut it down and replace it with something bad, or not think about it and think about something that would affect me negatively, or don't talk about it, something like that. Here it's important for me, whatever method that may be, whether it's through doing this or whatever, just immediately jump on it. And that doesn't mean I have to post this necessarily, even though I might. But yeah, it's just don't let it don't let it fester. And when the unfortunate thing is I'm still, I don't, and lately it's not even because of fully because of choice, but I'm not conversing a lot with a lot of people lately. In isolation, even to someone like me, who even at their most social, it's I have a battery, and sometimes it gets drained, and sometimes I need to, be by myself. So I'm always gonna have that, but there's a difference between, having alone time and, isolation. And it's a fine line, and I tend to cross into isolation way too much. So, and also it's like being afraid of the uncomfortability of what happens when I do go into situations like that, big social situations, something like that. But then I have to keep reminding myself that uncomfortability only lasts as long as you let it last. And generally, if you kind of surrender to the moment, for me at least, that uncomfortability lasts absolute max like an hour. But like even then, like if I really let myself fall in the situation, it'd probably be like fucking like 10 to 20 minutes later, I'm absolutely fine. You know, it's not, I can't like make that not happen. I guess that's the fear. It's like, oh, it's gonna happen again. And I guess I'm so scared of it because all the times I tried to fight it, it made things so much worse. But like, I have to remember I'm not that guy anymore. And I let that fear of being that guy take over me. That's what pushes me back into that version of myself. I shouldn't. Yeah, I'm just not him anymore, and I need to truly accept that. Because I mean, that's all I can do. Because if I try to think about it or to look at it any other way, it'll just pull me back there. And that's the funny thing is like, it's like this vicious cycle of like, oh, that fear is going to be the thing that's going to bring me back there. But then I think about like, okay, well then just don't be afraid of it and you won't go back there or whatever like that. But it's just like, but if the fear comes back, then I'll go back there. I don't know. It's this fucking weird ass like logic, but not logic I put behind it. And I guess it's just this like, I think I've kind of said it before about this like this fear of not of losing what makes me somehow by me letting go of all these really bad habits and bad thought processes. Like I think that I'm going to lose me, what makes me, and that's ridiculous. Especially, I guess this is like this thing of like, because in all this shit that has been my adult life, there have been moments, and really good moments of growth, like even in the worst moments, you know, of you know, amazing music I've made or something like that. And I doubted the fuck out of it. That's why it's still not even out there. Also, I kind of am not the best at mastering music, and that's why I'm going to school now and stuff like that. But no, yeah, there I go, put asterisks on it again. Just straight up, regardless of how it looks to the outside world, I have done amazing things, but I didn't let myself grasp that or see that. But yeah, no, but then when I do, then it's like either I don't see it and I just feel like shit for that way, or I do see it, but now I'm like, oh, well, is it all this bullshit that pushes those moments out? Is that how it just has to happen now? Does it have to be that I suffer so much of the time and have these small moments of just greatness where I burst out and I've done the greatest thing I ever did, like more so than even when I was a kid? And I'm afraid, like, if I go back to that childhood mindset of being free from all this and surrendering to it all, will I lose all that put me up to this point? And the truth is, no, I will not lose it. Because if it was all this pain that made me that way, that provided those few breakout moments, I have more than enough pain to pull from. If I stopped doing this to myself right now, I have more than enough of that shit still in me from the years and years and years that I did it to myself to fuel the art that I want to make, or fuel just these moments of just like, I don't know, just this very great version of me that is resilient and strong and all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. Well, I do know. It's just simple. Just let it go. You know, I've done enough. I've paid enough, and I know better not to analyze every single moment so much, because in me doing that, it's gonna keep me in whatever insecurity I'm currently in that moment, and it's the reason I'm gonna have difficulty getting out of it. And a lot of times it's not even, well, that's why I said insecurity. A lot of times it's not even something that's real, something that I made up in my head, or maybe even makeup. That's actually a very good point. Is a lot of times it's something that legit happens, but then it just grows and I let it fester and become a bigger thing than it was, even though maybe the slip up or maybe the voice crack. I mean, I haven't had one of those in a while, but you know what I mean? Like even now as my chest tightens, I get like insecure because, you know, my voice isn't as grounded as I like it to be. Because when I'm clear-headed, when I'm calm, when I'm collected, when everything's going right, I basically have a Batman voice, right? Like I have these balls, you know, like, but like that. But then I get insecure if I let anxiety take over, and it clearly is not like that. But like, first off, there might be a bunch of people that don't even fucking notice. And second off, or in general, but specifically reeling it back, if it's just one little moment that it happens, if you just let that roll off your back and keep moving forward, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck, you know? And you shouldn't even, because the reason you keep yourself down so much is because you took that one little thing, that one little mistake, or that wasn't even a mistake, that was just a thing because you're human, that one little blip, and now that's the thing, right? You could do 99% of things right, but that one thing you did wrong sticks in your fucking head. And even though everyone else around you sees you for that 99%, you only see yourself for that 1%. Humans, man, it's fucking crazy. Anyway, yeah, it's basically what I want to get at now. It's just kind of like, that's me today. I want to be consistent from this point forward. I was going to work out today and missed out on it. Was not going to work out this time of night because of the exhaustion I will feel afterwards. I will definitely oversleep, and I have a day tomorrow where I actually have to be on time. My job is usually pretty flexible with that kind of stuff, but I actually need to be on it tomorrow. So yeah, I can't fuck around, sleep in and shit. So besides missing that, not making that thing either, being able to make it up, you know, letting myself do that. But like, just saying, like, I want to I just want to be consistent from this point forward, and I want to show that. And because I know what I can do, and I just won't allow myself to do it, and that's because I have no reason not to do it. Ironically, it's this moment of like, this is the moment. This is the moment where you just let it all go, and it's all, you know, it's all behind you, and there's this whole new world in front of you. But you know, there's that shred that's doubts it, that's so scared of it. That's just like, well, what if da 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 da? It's like, well, as a result of you feeling that fear, you're making things worse right now than they've ever been for you, and it's all on you. So like, if you just stop, you'll be good. But it also, it's realistically, in addition to that, it's not the immediate thing, which is also the fear. Because once you let go, it's like, all right, now I got to start taking the steps to doing better. But then along that process, since it's so difficult, you start to question it and start to want to pull back a little bit because you're in that awkward growing stage, you know? It's like when I've grown my hair out. When I've grown it out good, and definitely when I style it good, it actually looks really good. I mean, right now I'm bald, but like, when I do that, there's always that stage in the middle, and every person, every dude in particular, who's ever tried to grow his hair out, you get that weird awkward stage. Well, a lot of people will cut it at that stage. A lot of people will get made fun of for how dumb it looks and get discouraged by it, instead of just writing it out and knowing that in the end product is going to be this masterpiece, right? And I could also say that for working out, you know. A lot of people that go to the gym consistently don't look like fucking bodybuilders, so they'll get like super body dysmorphia because they think they gotta whatever that way. It's like, there's a growing stage, man. we've been conditioned in this fucking life to think that things happen overnight. Overnight successes, they're not a real thing. It's nice to, have these legends and these stories that we tell about that kind of stuff, but it's not real. Even the people that like say Metallica, for instance, that made it big real young, late teens, early 20s and shit like that, it still doesn't I guess they're a little closer to an overnight thing because they were really they got popular fast, but even with that though, actually, even using that as an example, the one that actually is kind of closer to an overnight success right there, it really still wasn't. You don't see the behind the scenes thing. I think of this is another loose reference I want to make, kind of like that Batman Begins one, of the last episode of Daredevil season 3, when Matt's talking to, spoilers, Matt's talking to his mom, and he said something about what Father Lampton, I forget to pronounce his name, said to him when he lost his sight. Said to Matt when he lost his sight, about how I'm gonna butcher this, but it was something about how God's plan or something like that is like a beautiful tapestry, but the curse of being human is that we only see it from the back. We see the roughness, the loose threads, all this kind of stuff. We can't see the whole picture of it. I totally forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, no, it's just kind of like, I remember now. The whole overnight success thing doesn't exist. Yeah, so that was kind of a loose. It doesn't exactly apply to what I was saying, but it kind of, sort of, you kind of know what I'm saying. It's the in-between moments. That's the big thing too with life. Life, the majority of it is the in-between moments. The majority of it is the shit that they cut out of the movie. You know what I'm saying? It's the shit that's just meh, right? It's the everyday shit that we don't want to see. We don't want to. Yeah, we don't. Right? It's not the cool parts. It's not the dramatic parts. It's not the funny parts. It's just this mundane in-betweenness. And even for the greats of this earth, who have all these success or whatever you want to call it, happiness, whatever, their life is still in between, full of all those little in-between moments. And guess what? When you try to constantly fill it with exciting shit all the time, you're either exhausted and or you are just kind of you've kind of lost I don't want to say meaning of life, but you've kind of lost you've kind of just lost sight of things, That's why it's not only a jealousy thing with people, but there's another reason why people don't like the people that are constantly partying and doing all this kind of stuff. It's because they clearly just kind of have this detachment from the real, and I'm kind of having difficulty explaining it right now, but there's so much more value if you keep it real. Right? There are people that are just kind of hell, you could associate that with fucking drinking too, if it's all okay, it's like that episode of How I Met Your Mother where he tries to make every night legendary. If every night is legendary by definition is mediocre, right? It can't all be legendary. The reason things happen that are so great is because we have all those in-between moments, not just the low moments. I'm talking not just the kind of boring moments, I guess you could say. The mundane of life, the in-between stuff, just kind of the threads that hold things together, the thing that leads to relapse the most, the boredom, the in-between parts where there's not really a lot going on and stuff like that, It's not 100% exciting all the time. The reason things truly are exciting is because there's all these little moments in between. And that's a problem I've had as well, is I've kind of gotten in my head about that and just kind of like convinced myself at one point that everything had to be exciting all the time, but that was so fucking exhausting trying to do that. And I kind of lost sight. Like I started to question, like, does anything matter? Through trying to make things exciting all the time, I started to lose hope. I started to lose meaning and it wasn't because I was failing at making things exciting. I mean, sometimes I was, but like when I was succeeding at it, especially, it was just kind of like, it was too much. Things weren't exciting anymore because I was just all the fucking time, And then it created some sort of anxiety if I ever had those small in-between moments where nothing was happening. And these moments were literally like 5 minutes. It wasn't even like it was hours or days. It was like 5 minutes where it was awkwardly quiet in the car. And now that's a thing. Right? But yeah, things aren't 100% all the fucking time. It's impossible for even the best of us to do that. And it's not healthy even. I don't know where I was going with that, but that's just kind of the weird rant direction I went. So yeah, just gotta be consistent with all the things I need to do, and that's really it. It's all I need to do. It's just, you get cocky and then you stop doing those things because you think you're gonna be fine. No. So all the hard things that are rewarding, keep on those and stop reverting all the way back to the quick fixes, to the alcohol, to the drunk, to the junk food, shit like that. Grit your teeth, just kind of, through it, make a little kid me proud, you know what I'm saying? Which in a lot of ways I feel like I already have, but there are certain ways where it's like, dude, come on. So, yeah.